Alright, so in this video we're going to create this guide finger that was a request from a subscriber that was having trouble making it. Now there's a few things I do want to point out. Based on the file that they sent me, it looks like there is an edge that was drawn in here. I don't know if that was by the teacher or whoever. I think originally this piece is supposed to be a chamfer here, which is probably what's making this more difficult. But with this edge here, this indicates that this is not a chamfer here. Okay, so this section right here. All right, so we're gonna create it. So I'm gonna move it over to my other screen. And we're gonna come in here, we're gonna start a new part. Okay, let me make sure everything is erased, good. All right, so no new feature here. We're gonna go guide finger. That's what we're gonna call it. Okay, so depending on the information you have, it looks like this piece is in metric. So if we want to, we could go up to prepare model properties, hit change. We're going to change to millimeter kilogram second. We're going to hit set. It doesn't matter which we pick. If we had already created something, you would want to interpret if you were using the metric numbers, or convert if you were creating it in inch. So we're going to hit OK. We're going to hit close, and we're going to hit close, and now we're ready to go. Okay. So easiest way to start this part is let's look at the most detailed view, or the most unique shape. Okay, so for this piece, I would personally use this as a top view and use this as my primary view. This one has more object lines, but this one tells me a little more about the shape of the piece, and that's why I would lean towards that one. When we learn about primary views in my shop, what we talk about most importantly is which view is going to give its true shape and size. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit extrude. We're going to pick this front plane here, and then we're going to draw the shape. Okay, now depending on if you have some more information on which surfaces might be better for like GD&T, if you knew what this assembled to, you might want to change where your datum references are going to be. But for this, we're going to just create with the bottom corner there. Okay, so we're going to go from here with the line command. We're going to go up, we're going to click, we're going to go up at an angle, we're going to go up at another angle here, we're going to go down, go over, down, and then back to here. And we're going to middle click to cancel out of that, and we're going to add in some dimensions. Okay, so you can either hit D, or you can go up and pick dimension here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to put in an overall dimension here. All right, we won't change them yet because I'm going to scale them all together. All right, we have some angles there. All right, so let's put in what we have. So let's go over here. Okay, we have a dimension 4 from here to here. And if you notice, I try to like add my dimensions similar to how I would lay them out in the drawing, because if I do that, I can actually save myself a little bit of time when I lay out my drawing, because the dimensions will show up where I put them on my sketch. All right, now here's what's tough is on the angles on the top here. You may be curious how you're going to put those in. All right, here's how I like to do it. If I want to dimension it like this rather than invert it here, because I don't like to dimension within a view. If you're trying to put the complementary, supplementary angles, you put in a center line from this point over in a horizontal line, put a dimension in from here to here, middle click, that's going to be my 15, and then I'll put one from here to here, middle click. That's going to be my 30. Now, the only other dimension I'm missing, let's see, where am I missing a dimension? To give me this, I need an overall from the very top to the bottom, middle click, and just checking that I have all these in here. I have one here, which indicates I'm missing something. So let's take a look at this view. Make sure I've got everything. So I've got a 54 to here. The dimension to that point was the one that I was. So let's go dimension, point to here, middle click. Then we're going to draw a big window around everything. And then what I like to do is hold right click right here, go to this modify button. So we're going to pick that, and then what I like to do is hit lock scale, and then I'll change one dimension to be the correct scale rather than have to figure them all out based on proportion afterwards. So I'll pick this dimension, which will bring it to the top for me. I'll put in 121, hit enter. You can see it all scales down together. I hit OK, and now I'm more zoomed in here. Okay, so now we'll put in these other ones here. So let's go with this one's pretty close. This is going to be 27. I got to bring my dimension in there. Ran away. So bring that one up. We'll bring this one up. This one will be 54. This one's going to be 35. Wow, I was pretty close on that one. And this one's going to be 13. All right. Now, if I look at my piece, before I go to my extrude, I see it's 57 wide, and this piece is symmetric. Okay? So, we're going to go ahead and hit OK. All right. And then, we're going to go ahead and switch to symmetric. Why would I do this? Well, it keeps my datum planes in the middle. If the piece is symmetric, there's no point in only extruding to one side. That's a very lazy modeling habit people have. If we set it up properly, we can save ourselves a lot of time in the long run here. So I'm going to hit OK. Okay. Now, let's put in the easy features to finish this off. All right, so back here, let's hit hole. Let's pick this top surface. By the way, unless you want me to yell at you, do not put these in as extrudes. These are not extrudes, these are holes. Okay? Put them in as a hole. It gives you more functionality in the long run. If you're trying to just rip through a part and make it really easy, like anyone could, all right, without actually thinking about like functionality and stuff like that, well then yeah, you could put it as an extrude, but it's the wrong way to do it. Okay, why do something wrong if we can do it right? All right, so the diameter is going to be 13. The distance for these is going to be 16. I could also go to placement and change them here in the offsets. And then 13 is that. If you're wondering why, by the way, I'm harping on the whole thing, is doing a hole allows me to change things later on, okay? Instead of having to delete things or recreate things, which is just bad modeling habit, I can go up here and hit like standard. I can put on counterbores and countersinks and things like that. I don't need to do that right now, but if I need to change this down the road, say I was designing this part and then all of a sudden I need to add a counterbore to it because I'm going to, like, you know, recess a head of a screw in there or something, or I'm going to forge the piece, maybe I need to put a little spot face in there. This gives me that option, makes it easy. In the long run, it's going to save your company a lot of money. It's going to make you very valuable. All right, so make sure you're through all here. That's another thing that's very important you'll hear in my videos. Don't leave this dimension in here. If it goes through, tell it it goes through. Okay? Then we'll middle click to say OK. And now I'm just going to pattern it. Okay, so I'm going to right click this. I'm going to hit pattern. The next one is 25 over, so I'm going to click the 16. And I'm going to type in 25. If you click the 16 and the dimension went away accidentally, just go up here under dimensions and then go right here, change this to 25 for your increment, and hit OK. There we go. We're done with that section. Now, for the tough part, okay? This is very confusing, okay? And I can tell you why it's confusing. I can also probably tell you why your teacher assigned this to you, is because they were trying to confuse you, okay? You would never in a million years dimension this part this way, okay? I'm not sure. I'm having a tough time wrapping my head around why the functionality of something would tell me what dimension it is from the bottom on one end with this 10 and the top from the other end with this 22, okay? Or what functionality reason you have for this 25 width at what's left here, okay? Maybe that's important, maybe something fits in there, but like if that's the case, why would this be the functional dimension? Okay, this is going to change more than anything else in this feature. These dimensions make sense, okay? But the other ones are just, you know, this is a part that is set up very complicated and very confusing on purpose to get you to think. Okay, so that's okay. So let me bring that back. I got a little carried away. So here's what we're going to do, okay? Now, this is not a chamfer. This is a flat, okay? So we have to make a cut with this type of profile down, but it needs to finish at an angle here. There's several ways to do this. I'm going to show you one of the easier ways to do this. If I know where one end is and where the other end is, let's create something that's going to guide us through those 2 points. All right, so first thing I know that one end over here is 22 down from this point. Again, not a dimension you would use in real practice, because how do you really verify that? Okay, so we're going to create an axis. All right, again, we can do it with points too. I like axes because it gives me like 2 dimensions I can work off of. We're going to make it perpendicular to here, so normal to this surface, or we could also go here if we want it. Why not? Let's do that. So we'll go normal to the front. Both would be the exact same thing. An axis is an infinite line. And we're going to drag one handle of the offset to this surface, which we know is on that surface. We're going to make that 0. And then we're going to drag the other one to that top point. Okay? So we're going to go right up to here, if I can get it. And see, that's giving me an angle, okay? So, in that case, let's do it a different way. We know it's 22 because axes don't really like edges. So, if we know it's 22 from here, 54 minus 22 means it's 32 from the bottom. So let's do it that way. Okay? Doesn't want to work. We'll find a different solution. So let's grab this. Let's bring it down here. And let's say, you know what? It's actually 32 from that one. Perfect. That's where our feature is going to intersect with that. We hit OK. Now, one big hint or big trick, by the way, make sure your axis isn't highlighted when you create this next one. So click somewhere to make sure that it unselects it. Then pick axis. Come over here. Click. Now we're going to do the same at the other side. We know it's 10 from the bottom on this surface. So 0 from that surface. Rotate. 10 from the bottom. Missed it. 10 from the bottom. That's where the other end is. Now, why did I do this? Well, so that we could take a plane and we could pick this and this. All right? And now I have that plane that we see in the sketch. Okay, this is that plane. All right, and we're going to use that as a guide as to where our extrude is going to stop. Okay, so we're going to hit OK. And we're going to use that plane later. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to cut downward from the top, but we don't have a flat surface across the top. Okay. And based on this line that was drawn in, the cut goes straight down. That's the only way we're going to get a vertical line like that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create an extrude. Okay. We are going to go to model again. We're going to create another plane. We're going to say that plane goes through this edge by selecting it. We're going to rotate. We're going to hold control. We're going to select the bottom. And then we're going to say that it's parallel to that surface. That's going to give us our sketch plane. We're We're going to hit OK. All right. Now, we're going to go back to our extrude, which is now going to think we're drawing on that plane. And unfortunately, is going to be rotated the wrong way. Okay, so you can see that it rotated me to the bottom. I don't want to do that. I want to see what I'm actually drawing into. So let's hit Sketch Setup. And we're going to say, okay, are we on that plane? Yes. The surface on the side is going to be the bottom, which is why it rotated like this. Well, in that case, let's make it, let's leave it as the bottom, actually. Let's just use a flip. And let's get there that way. All right, and actually I'm going to make it the top too. I want to look at it like this. All right, so all I did was switch my reference. I still used the same surface I had before. I could have used the right plane or whatever. And then we're going to hit Sketch, okay? And now the first thing you do, if you watch my videos before, the first thing that we do is we set up our references, okay? So, first reference we're going to set up, we can go up here and pick references, or you can right-click and pick references here. So first reference I'm going to pick is the middle, because I'm actually going to mirror across the sketch for the cut, and I'm going to use this back end. I could use the axis, I could use the surface, it really doesn't matter, but we'll use the surface. I like to use surfaces. And then we'll go up here and hit Sketch to View, okay, and then we're going to add one more reference and add that, okay. Now, we're going to draw the profile. So we're going to go from this point down, click, add an angle, click, over, click, up, click, over, click. Okay? Now we're going to add a center line in. And we're going to put that center line right on this middle reference point. Remember how I said keep things symmetric? Saves you time in the long run. Okay? So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and mirror everything and then add the dimensions in, since most of my dimensions are dependent on being symmetric. So I'm going to pick all this, draw a big window around it. I'm going to go up here, hit mirror. I'm going to hit this line. Okay. Now I'm going to add some dimensions in. So from this point to this point, it's going to be 25. From this line to this line is going to be 13. And because I used all the proper references, see that there's no other dimensions. I'll turn off all my stuff so you can see. 2 dimensions, and I have my whole thing set up here. Now we're going to say, okay. We're going to change it to a remove. Okay, we're going to flip the direction. You can see that profile it's cutting, but here's why we made that plane earlier. We're going to say up to a selected surface, edge, vertex, quilt, body, curve, plane, axis, or point. We're going to go ahead and turn our planes back on so we can see that nice plane that we created. Pick that plane, look at that. It's going to cut straight down to that plane and stop. We're going to hit OK. We're going to turn all of our planes off. And now you can see if I rotate, and actually what I'll do is I'll drag this to one side of the screen. And I'll drag this to the other side of the screen. Okay, so let's make sure that this looks right. Alright, so let's look at the front. Okay, that looks exactly the same. Okay, if you wanted me to turn on the hidden lines, I can. If you want to see those little holes in the back. You can see there they are right there. And then if we rotate to the top, that looks the same as right here, right? And all of our dimensions are going to verify because you saw me put those in. Okay, so that's how you would create this part. It's a little bit of an illusion. If you remove one of these dimensions, okay, or one of these down here, you could make this with a chamfer. It would mean this edge would go away as well. Okay, so I hope that helped. That was a great request, and a very challenging part for sure. Hopefully this will help you in your class that you need.